Okay. If everybody can remember to keep yourselves muted during the meeting, it would be handy. Evan McMahon, Chairman of the Libertarian Party of Indiana. It is January 15th, 2022 at 10:47 a.m. And I am calling this January meeting of the State Central Committee to order. The agenda is online on the LPIN website and is linked in the Zoom comments for the board members. For those at home, if you go to lpin.org, click on events, and then on the events calendar, click on any SCC meeting, the agenda will be there ahead of time. Madam Secretary, are you ready to call the roll?
Yes, please forgive the background noise. I'm at a robotics competition.
Uprising, where are the uprising? They are coming.
Well, some of these kids have some pretty incredible robots, so I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, and actually Indiana is like one of the toughest robotics states. Like all these teams are really good on a world level, not just national. Okay, enough of that. Chair Evan, you're present. Lucy, Vice Chair.
Present.
Secretary, I'm here, sort of. Treasurer Michael.
Present.
Political Director Jared. Crickets, okay, absent. IT Director Chuck Hagerman.
Present.
Field Director Morgan Rigg.
Present.
Student Director Rosalind Cowell. District 1 Chuck Pullen.
Good morning, District 1 present.
District 2 Elizabeth.
Present.
District 3 Christy.
Here.
District 4 Dennis. District 5 Greg Noland.
The fighting fifth is here.
District 6 Luke Lomax. Okay. District 7 Kent Williams.
Present.
District 8 Jay Solomon.
Present.
District 9 Greg Hirsch. It's gonna be late, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then I have communications, Michelle Holiday.
I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
And I'm gonna go through this guest list just to make sure I have everybody that I see. Demir Kavar.
Yes, Monroe County, Demir.
Sorry, Monroe County, you said? Hang on one
Yes.
second. Monroe County, welcome. James Siniak, and I apologize for mispronouncing it.
You're actually really close. James Tuniak, present.
And are you representing anything in particular?
My
Or
campaign.
just okay.
For USN.
USN. Okay. Jennifer Commissar Kern,
Commissar Kern, Floyd County.
Lloyd County. Hang on one second. Danny Lundy, Morgan County, right? Angus Thornburg.
Kate's here. Kate Thornburg was from Randolph County.
Randolph County, okay.
Yeah, sorry, kid's computer.
That's okay, I have the same problem. Randolph County. Let's see, I think I saw Cassie Rowland.
Yeah, I'm here for Kosciuszko County.
Yeah, I can never spell that, but I'll do my best.
Kosciuszko.
Yeah, I can look it up. Thank you. And then I got William Henry.
Yes, present.
Okay. Okay, and did I catch everybody in attendance?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. Try to anyway here.
Be prepared. We may get a couple other additional guests pop in. And Greg Hirsch should be here probably within the next 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so that's the roll call. Adoption of the agenda. Everybody's had a chance to take a look at the agenda on the website. SCC members, are there any amendments to the agenda? Any objection to adopting the agenda as presented? Okay, hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Appointment of timekeeper, Mr. Rigg, if you can be the timekeeper for us, that would be very handy.
Well,
Thank you. Reports of officers, I'll go first for 10 minutes. The past month, I've been doing a lot of the training sessions. We've had basically 3 different training sessions going on throughout the week. Every Tuesday, before we were doing a helpline Tuesday evenings for the CRM. Now we're doing, instead of that, we're doing a CRM access training. So to get access to the CRM, you have to go through the training. We're doing those scheduled for 2-hour blocks on Tuesday evening, starting at 6:30 Eastern. You do need to register for it in advance. I will say this about the meetings, that the training sessions that I've been having on that, on treasurer work, on working with county chairs on how to hold their county convention and prepare and file their paperwork for their candidates. Please be on time to those. If you're more than 10 minutes late, I'm not going to let you into the meeting, to the training session. It's not fair to the other people who are there that we have to stop and start over. It's not fair to you that you're going to be missing a giant section. So if you're not let in, you'll just have to sign up for a different date. Also, there's things that need to be done before you come to the meeting. There's, especially with the CRM training, there's a couple of forms you have to fill out. Waiting until 15 minutes before the meeting starts to do that means that there's back-end stuff that we have to do to create your account. I can't do that in 15 minutes and prepare to start the meeting. So if it's not done an hour before the meeting is scheduled, you're going to have to wait until another training session. But those have been going really, really well. We've gotten a lot of people set up on the CRM, and I can see they're logging in and communicating with their members. They're finding out who their members are. So it's, definitely been very helpful to our members, county affiliates, to do that. I recommend that you have all of your officers attend that training and getting that access so that they can use it in their role as a county party officer. There's some changes, some features that we've asked for that are coming online. Instead of doing training sessions with those, I'm going to make videos on how to do them, and then just make those available to the people who have already got the access. We've already started. I've got all of the paperwork and the check ready for going to the election division to secure the voter list for 2022, because we do now have enough candidates on the ballot from our county parties. Rachel Combs in Owen County, I believe, and Kristen Alexander in Morgan County. We have their paperwork so we can get on the ballot. With that, 2 of the 3 groups that we normally partner with for the voter list have already started the process of securing it for 2022. So that's great. That's another 5 to 10 grand coming in the next week or 2. All of these, the canopy tents and the materials for branding the canopy tents are here in the house. I have them. We're going to start that, but before we start making those tents, Christian Alexander is going to be coming up a couple of days this week to help get the old membership packages that were being held hostage by the post office. We're going to get those postaged and sent out this next week. So she's coming up to help do that. The next thing will be getting out the newsletter. And then the thing after that will be putting all the branding on all of the pop-up tents. I've been talking to a lot of candidates, a lot of potential candidates. I've been watching the legislature, mostly focusing on things relevant to election law and the Libertarian Party. So far, there's not much that impacts us. There's one bill that does, and it helps us positively. It's very similar to a bill that was proposed last year. It changes what a minor party is to any party that receives 2,500 votes in any statewide race. It basically creates parity between minor and major party and access to things. There's a whole lot of stuff that they're missing in it that they don't know exists within the law that would also need to be changed. And I've communicated that with the sponsor or the author of the bill. It's not going to go anywhere. It's assigned to the elections committee in the House. They're probably not even going to hold a hearing on it, to be honest, but we're monitoring it and engaging and keeping track of those things. So with that, are there any questions for the chair?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Solomon.
So you said what time on Tuesdays for the CRM training?
6:30 Eastern, and there are links that have been emailed out to the district reps and all the county chairs that have all of those calendars on them. I've hesitated to put them on the events page because then anybody can see them. And we don't necessarily want that. However, I've been thinking about it, and the only people who can get access anyway are people who are already a county party officer, or if that county party officer has said, hey, Evan, hey, Chuck, can you add this volunteer to our CRM team? So I am going to put them on the website so that people can see them and then click on the registration from there.
Okay, and a follow-up question, because you're doing them on Tuesday nights, I have an unusually high number of scoutmasters in my district, and I guess Tuesday nights is when they do things. So I've had a couple of them ask me if they can't make a Tuesday, is there a way they could get it some other time, like ad hoc, and how they would go about that?
I would ask them to look at my Calendly link. I'll send you the one that's for 2 hours, and then ask them to pick a day that I'm available in the evening that works for them and have all of them do it at once. And then we'll set it up. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Nolan was first, and then Mr. Hagerman.
I have two questions. One, do we have any bylaws that have been submitted for the convention as to your knowledge?
None have officially been submitted. I have one that I'm working on that I hope to have done before next week. I know it's after the proposed timeline. It is what it is. We've had some issues with getting our actual bylaws put back together. And that is actually completed now. But my bylaw is creating campus affiliates and a campus district rep. I know that there is one other potential bylaws proposal. Mr. Solomon, is that coming? I won't say what it is out of deference to you, but is that being sent?
I want to get like an actual on paper poll of my chairs to see where they're at on it, because I know there's some either way, and it's probably just going to depend on that.
Well, let's ask this. Mr. Nolan, we'll come back to you later, but if you can be thinking about if
all I want to do is remind everyone that it needs to go through the SCC or can't go to the convention. So next meeting will be the last time. It actually needs to go to the committee
Right.
before the SCC meeting so we can present it to the SCC. And I just want to remind everybody
Do you
that.
Do you
The
feel that
second
if we
thing-
have them to you before, let me look at this here. If we had them to you and Russell by this time next week, by the 22nd of January, would that be enough time for you guys to review, make suggestions, and then be prepared to present them to the SCC on the 12th of February?
It would depend on the volume. If there's one or two, it would probably be fine. If there's
I
seven or
only know of the two, one for me and one for
yeah,
Jay.
if there's 7 or 8, then, you know, I will qualify that with a qualified yes, but
Okay.
depending on volume. The other thing was wanting to know, where are we at on, you were forming a veterans committee or something, was wondering what our status on that. I had some veterans that were wanting to maybe be a part of that, so.
It kind of fell apart. And so I'm open to putting that on somebody else's plate to manage and put that together and organize them. I can't. It's sitting on my plate it's not even on my plate. It's on like the side plate of appetizers that maybe you're going to get to. I can see it on the table, but I'd rather somebody come by and take it off of my plate to even if you're not on the committee, to just organize it, get them together and get them meeting. So if somebody is interested in doing that, please email me and let me know, and I will appoint you taskmaster for that. Mr.
Chair,
Hagerman.
Mr. Chair, we're at time. I'd request an extra 5 minutes, please.
Let's do 2. Any objection to 2 minutes? Okay. Mr. Hagerman.
I just wanted to ask if there's any way I could get on to one or some of the trainings that you're doing on Tuesdays.
You can get onto absolutely every single one of them. You're the tech girl.
Well, you'd have to send me the link to sign up because
you don't have to sign up. Actually, and here's another thing. For those people who miss the training and have to come back to redo it, as long as you have completed the pre-paperwork stuff, you don't have to do it again. Once you've done the pre-paperwork, basically signing up for the user account and signing your NDA, you do not do it again just to attend the training. That's a one-time thing that we do to set up your account. You don't have to do it every time. There's a couple people who've done it each and every time. Lucy, you don't have to do it. I canceled your paperwork thing. I can't remember. Other people in the room have done it too. But you only have to do it once. If you are an SCC member, you do need to do it and get signed up and get trained and then, be using the system. As Mr. Nolan can attest, my response now when people send me a message asking me something is to say, look it up in Civi. Isn't that right, Mr. Nolan?
I don't remember said conversation. I think I was told to go to the tech person was what I think I was told.
That could be too, as long as it's not me.
I think that's what I was told, not me, the tech person. If you have any questions, I believe is what I was told, but could be wrong.
no, I think you're probably right.
Miss Alyssa, Madam Secretary, just to, for the record, Larry Silver has joined the room. Larry, I can't remember where Larry's from. I'm sorry, Larry.
Hancock County. I'm filling in for Luke.
Thank you. That's not official. I'm sorry, Larry. There was no request by Luke to have a proxy, so he's just considered vacant or absent today because of the proxy has to be submitted before the meeting. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But you can attend and report back to him and tell him all of the things we said about him.
All right, that works.
Okay. And do try to remain muted during the meeting. Thank you, sir. Moving on, next on the agenda for officer reports is the secretary, Alyssa.
Hi, yeah, sorry, it might be a little noisy every now and then. Not much to report. I think we're waiting on final numbers for delegate counts. That's going to happen soon, probably this weekend, because I've got 4 days off. I have all the minutes, but I have not been near Wi-Fi to upload them, so I apologize. Well, not all the minutes. There's still a couple that I have to sit through and redo and listen to the meetings because I was absent at those meetings. But all of them are done with those exceptions. So, like I said, I just have to be near wireless, and like today I'm on my phone, so that's where we're at. Any questions?
The delegate counts are done.
Or are they?
Yeah, the list is updated. The only thing that will change for them is if a new county becomes affiliated prior to the convention, then they get counted as affiliated county.
They have to be, though, before the 21 days, right?
Correct.
Have the delegate count gone out to the chairman? Because I'm getting quite a few questions about that.
They need to check their emails. They need to learn to check their emails, because every single county chair received an email with a link to the delegate count.
Did you send that email to the district reps? Because I didn't get one, or I didn't see one.
Sure did. It was sent out December 18th, December 28th, January 10th, I believe.
I didn't think you could do it until after December 31st.
We posted the link to the sheet so that people could see it. So because there were counties that had their county convention like January 3rd or 4th.
Yes.
And so we were giving them an idea of at least what they had last year. So it would give them a rough idea, but then it became official shortly after that. But so the link has been available since December 18th for people to look at. Was then announced that it was official.
Where's the link at? It's on the letter from the 10th.
Right,
is that what you said? January 10th?
Get to it right now, but I will resend the email again.
Okay, January 10th. Is that when you sent the link this?
I think it was January 10th. I honestly can't remember. I sent so many emails that nobody reads. Mr. Solomon?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I just saw that the SCC got an email from Mr. Lomax about Mr. Silver standing in as a proxy, and I feel like that's proper notification for that.
Why don't you make a motion that he be accepted as a substitute?
I will move to recognize Mr. Silver as District 6 proxy for this meeting.
I will second that.
You're muted, Evan.
Sorry. Then nothing I said mattered. What I was saying, I said I would accept that motion if it was moved.
Could you repeat? Could you repeat who made that motion? Sorry.
Mr. Solomon from the 8th District made the motion. It was seconded by Mr. Nolan. The motion is to accept Mr. Larry Silver as the proxy for the 6th District rep. We'll just do a voice vote. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Okay, it is official. Mr. Silver, you are now the proxy for this meeting for the 6th District. So Alyssa, if you can record that.
I have updated the minutes to reflect.
Do you understand that, Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hagerman.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they can go into Civi and go under their activities and find those emails.
No, not everybody can.
Okay. Well, if they have Civi access.
County chairs, I don't think can. They can see that they got the email. I don't think they can look at the email.
View it. Okay. Well, that's why I said correct me if I'm wrong.
Time.
Thank you, sir. With no,
One last thing, just to add, I'm not asking to add minutes, but just to make sure, I've only gotten one email of delegates so far.
and that was from Morgan County, correct?
That would be correct.
Yes, and actually on the sheet, it also has the delegate information as submitted by Morgan County, and I went ahead and pre-credentialed them or credentialed them and checked their membership status. Mr. Schulteis, did you have a question?
For Ms. Salgado's point, Hamilton County did have its annual convention, but we've recessed until early February. Would you prefer our tentative delegate list, or would you like the finalized one in February?
The finalized one in February would be better. That way nothing gets confused or missed.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to Mr. Schulteis for a treasurer's report.
Apologies for the lack of formal report. Across all of our accounts, we have $57,534.34. I do have some available time over the next few days, so I hope to get caught up on the formal reports for December and January.
And I'll just add on to that, we will have another at least 5, potentially 10,000 by this time next week. One of the checks was already sent for the 2022 list, but I'll be taking on Tuesday, because Monday is a federal holiday, the list to, or the form to the Indiana Election Commission, so that will be a deduction, but then we'll get another 5 to 10 the following week. Any questions for Mr. Schulteis?
Just to make sure I had that number correct, could he repeat that?
$57,534.34.
Okay, so that's $34.34, right? Okay. I thought I was hearing things. Thanks.
Ms. Avery.
I just wanted to add a quick question. How do we get set up to have our triple membership money automatically deposited? Do we need to get with Michael on that?
So I'm actually going to be working this week with Michael to set up a form or an email system or something for people to communicate that information to Michael. And then once that's done, we'll send out that payment. And then he'll be doing that approximately the 3rd or 4th of each month moving forward. The tricky part is tracking who's doing it via paper check and who's doing it via wire transfer. So there's probably going to be a continued amount of a little slowness, but I think once we know a county is getting it electronically, Michael will be able to check on that. So we'll be working on that this week to request that information from all of the counties. Whether he likes it or not, we're doing that this week. Any other questions for Mr. Schulteis? Okay, hearing none. I'm on the wrong page for the agenda. Vice Chair, Ms. Brinton.
Hey. Thank you for the recognition. Pretty short, like Alyssa, not a lot has been happening this month. I am still active in the medical freedom groups, and I'm still doing the Mouthwash Live show every Tuesday night as Libertarian Lucy and advocating for us. So that's about it. Didn't have any real big things happen in December. So end of report.
Sweet. Any questions for Lucy? Okay, hearing none, we'll move into district reports. Mr. Pullen, District 1.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Solomon.
I think you skipped the director reports.
You know what? I sure did. Sorry about that. We'll start with communications. Ms. Holliday.
Okay, hi. First off, our premiere of our LPN Fireside Chat series has been produced and is finished. It is ready to go. Our guest is Dr. Jo Jorgensen, and she was absolutely wonderful. I can send out a copy of it to everybody here so that you guys can get a sense of what it is. And then I would love suggestions on distribution specifically, where you guys think it would be most viable. You know what? It doesn't matter whether one person sees it or 10,000 million see it. We can send it out everywhere you guys suggest. So I would love some assistance on that one. And I'd love some feedback also on the fireside chat. I believe our next guest up is going to be our chairman to cover what's happening in the party. And then we'll just sort of go for there. I apologize for my voice, but that's my report right now.
I will chime in there to add as well. We did receive a decent amount of content from people for the newsletter, and I want to thank Michelle and Chuck for proofing some of those, looking at them, communicating with the people that sent them. Those are the newsletters are going to be sent. Unfortunately, it's going to be towards the end of the month before those get sent out. We still need lots more content. There wasn't enough. We were missing some. The reminder to district reps, please do them. County chairs, candidates, members who want to write an opinion piece. It's very surprising that we have all of these members who are some of the most opinionated people in the world, but we only got 2. And one of them was actually from the county chair on how to grow your county party. So do please encourage people to write content, to send it to us. If you have pictures, send those pictures along with it. We may use them, we may not. Do include a headshot of yourself. We will use it, whoever is sending the article. But make sure they're high quality photos, not something that you pulled from Facebook and then sent to us. Facebook downgrades the quality of those photos. So while it will look good on Facebook and online, it will not look good in the printed edition. But just, send whatever photos you want, as long as they're high quality, and we will use what we can and not use what we don't want to. But there was some really good stuff that was submitted. So thank you for that. I also want to give a shout out. I wrote the response to the governor's State of the State within just a few minutes of him finishing. My boyfriend was really angry that I made him sit and watch it while I screamed and yelled at the TV the entire time. And I sent it to Michelle and Chuck and said, hey guys, put some spit and polish on this, correct my grammar, remove all the cuss words. And I said, I want to get this sent out within the next hour. And they were on it. They did within a half hour. The responses came back from Chuck and Michelle, and they made some really, really good tweaks. Unfortunately, I was sick and passed out. And it didn't go out until the next morning. But it was still timely, because normally it takes us 5 or 6 days to respond to stuff like that. But we got it in, less than 12 hours. So that was good. But it was good. If you have something, again, content, if there's something that you would like to write a response to, submit it. It may not come directly from the Libertarian Party. It came from, U.S. Senate candidate James Siniak or Will Henry, or, District Rep Jay Sullivan, or Floyd County Chair Jennifer Commissar-Kern. Send it to us. You got a response, and as long as it's not, too controversial, we can publish it and print it and put it all over the interwebs. Any other questions for Michelle?
I just had a general question about that newsletter. You said we were a little light on content. Is that an invitation to see if you can scare any last minute pieces out, or are you just going to roll with what you got?
No, it's done now. the issue we have now with getting it done is I just need to print all the copies of it and then stuff them, staple stuff and print the postage for them. But it's as they say in the industry, it is put to bed. But for the next one, we do need some more content. Any other questions for Michelle?
When is content due for the next newsletter?
Shit.
You would ask that.
Good question.
I'll get back to you on that. I think that's something that the comms team is going to need to talk about, and that we publish a list of when things are due and the word counts associated for each type of content that's published to the website, so everybody knows. There's no question about when, what, and how many words. So we'll take care of that. Okay. I'll use the political director's time since he's not here. We've had lots of candidates. Something interesting that happened this week. I got an email from the Tippecanoe County Election Board asking me to verify the Tippecanoe County Convention, because there were people who apparently are candidates as Libertarians and said they were nominated at the county convention, and the Tippecanoe County Election Board came to the LPIN website and did not see a Tippecanoe County convention on the calendar. And so they believed that it was erroneous and not approved by the state party. So I responded back, including both the district rep and the county chair, and informed them that the county parties set their schedule for their own county conventions and business meetings, as long as they are held in accordance with their local bylaws and the state party bylaws. While we encourage county officers to include their events on our state calendar page on our website, it is not required. It's not required to have it listed on our Facebook page under events. However, since it wasn't on either the Facebook page, because we weren't added as a co-host, the LPIN was not added as a co-host, and it was not put on the state party calendar events because that county does not have CRM access yet. Since none of those things happened, it drew questions from the election board. It's since been resolved, obviously, but it pointed out something interesting, which is, please, district reps, add your county conventions to the calendar. Also, counties, please report back your candidates that were nominated. We have a secretary. Mr. Hirsch has joined the call. Alyssa.
Thank you.
So I'm going to keep going. Send us your candidate information. We will also store candidate filings in our repository. So if you send us their CFA 1s, their CAN 12s, their CAN 16s, and or their CAN 22s, we will keep a copy of those, for good record keeping and good housekeeping. But at the very least, we'd like to put the candidates on our webpage. So please work with us to make sure we have accurate information about the candidates in your counties and when the counties are holding their convention. Don't send me a list. Don't send Chuck Hagerman a list of when your county conventions are. Go in Civi and add them. If you've gone through the training, you know how to do it. If you've not gone through the training, you should go through the training. Any questions about political?
Mr. Pollan, did you have a question? I saw your hand go up, and I want to cut in front of you.
No, I was just letting him know that Mr. Hirsch was in the meeting.
Okay. The issue with Tippecanoe County, was that just the county election board exercising extra due diligence, or was there any discrepancy about the paperwork being filed where the candidates not actually being our candidates?
It was just a discrepancy because there hasn't been candidates there in years past. They did not know anything about the county party. And therefore felt like it was somebody honestly trying to run as a libertarian without being one of our candidates. So it was actually good that they contacted us. It was nice. And then it gave that opportunity to do the introductions between the election board and the county chair and the district rep. So
Paperwork was filed correctly, and those were actually our candidates.
Yep. They haven't filed the paperwork yet. I guess they were calling and asking about the paperwork because this county also, Tippecanoe did not go through the convention training and paperwork training. So.
Okay.
Field director, Mr. Rigg.
Yeah, I've just got two quick items. Since our last meeting, two more people signed up as volunteers. I've spoken to one of them, and I have reached out to the other. And then an even shorter announcement, I did submit an article for the upcoming LPIN newsletter. And since both are here, I wanted to give a special shout out to Liz Coquillard and Cassie Rowland for their help in providing the information that I needed so I could write up the article. My deep thanks to both of them. That's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Rigg? Okay, student director isn't here. Jay, just real quick, I still want to work on this with you.
I set aside time that day, and then you never got back to me. So I
was driving. I wasn't driving. I was in the car. And it was rough. It was real rough. That I just want to say, like, since like December 15th, my life has been a comedy of errors. It's not been tragic. Nothing like horribly bad has happened, but everything that could go wrong has been going wrong. Some people might say it's because Mercury's in retrograde. I think it's just I'm getting all of the badness out early in the year so that the rest of 2022 will be amazing. But let's circle back and refocus on that. IT director, Mr. Hagerman.
Thank you. So I am continuing to update Civi with the data from Wild Apricot. I am researching setting up a Stripe account and attaching them to a Civi webpage for Jay Solomon. There is a call after this meeting that I'll be attending where I should be able to get most, if not all, the information I'll need to work on that. I was asked to review all triple members that also have an active annual account to see if any required a refund for double billing, and I canceled all the annual accounts. So that was a request from the last meeting, and I've completed that. I was also asked to create a list of all current LPN officers, district reps, and directors. I was doing a couple of things as I was going through those lists. So I was looking to see if any of the officers were blocking email, phone, or mail. And if they were, then I created a task for Evan to contact them because we need their permission to take off that block. I was also reviewing their Civi status and finding who had Civi access and who did not. And I created a list for Evan and myself so that we can get all the LPIN officers access to Civi. And he has that list now and he can check them off as we get them taken care of. I submitted an article to the newsletter, even though it was late. So I got that done. And I'm currently working on a Google Sheet form for collecting candidate information. I'm about halfway through the video that I'm using to do that. I've set up the form and I'm now having to connect it to the data sheet, and I haven't gotten that far yet, but it should be done within the next couple of days. And that is it for my report.
Time.
Any objection to extending for 5 minutes? Okay.
Yes.
None. Really?
Well, that means more work for me.
I'm just going to take up the 5 minutes.
Okay.
I had a quick question for Mr. Hagerman.
Mr. Solomon, go ahead.
Or a comment rather. Chuck, I actually was able to figure out that District 8 does have a Stripe account that was set up with my predecessor. However, the password reset is two-factor authenticated to his phone. So I'm trying to coordinate with him to get access to that. Hopefully within this next week, I will have that and we can get you added on and get all that knocked out this week.
Okay. Well, and I'll still from my end find out everything that I need so that we both can meet in the middle.
Some civvy announcements within the tech. We've been talking about how everybody's going to be able to use the bulk mail instead of the only being able to send to 25 people at a time. That was supposed to go live January 1st. They changed it to January 14th. I had a phone I do a weekly call with the national tech team, and they said it's still not ready yet. Essentially what's going on is there were two factors in play with it. One was everybody had to switch to AWS from SparkPost. They extended the deadline for that to January 10th because half the states had not done it yet. And on the 10th, they basically just said, listen, we've been telling you about this since October. We're switching. Which lit a fire under some states when their emails, their contribution emails and bulk mails stopped going out. But so the AWS thing is officially finished and switched over, and we're fine on that. The second thing is they wanted to use a new email template system called Mosaic. And essentially, if you were to send an email right now through that system, it would be branded 100% as the LPIN. It would have our banner, all of that stuff. They wanted to be able to allow districts and county chairs to be able to send something that is slightly more tailored towards the county. It would have your logo in it. It would have your contact info. It would still say paid for by the Libertarian Party of Indiana, and the unsubscribed information would all be the same. But it would have your social media links, your logo combined with the LPIN. So it'd be more branded for you. They are working on that. They don't want to turn it on until that happens because they don't want, and I also don't want this. Every time those emails get sent out from a district or a county, the reply email address is the state party, and I'm the one that gets them all. And sometimes it's not clear what the hell the person's talking about. So I don't know where to forward it to. This would change that because also every county will have a new email address, which is, I'm going to use Morgan County as the example. It would be morgancounty.lpin or morgancounty@lpin.vote. And so when you log in as a county officer and you go to send a bulk mail, your choices will be the state party email address, lpinhq@lpin.org, or your county party at lpin.vote. So that's one of the things that we're working on. And Michael will be setting those email addresses up, and they will automatically forward to whatever email address we have for the county party. If there is no email address on record for the county party, it will get sent to the county party chair. If there is no one, if the county chair for some reason magically does not have an email address, which I do believe there are a couple that we do not have email addresses for, then it will just go into the Ethereum and no one will be communicated from your county. Hold on a second, Mr. Schulteis. There are some other changes that are happening that are good things that we'll be doing I'll be doing videos instead of doing training sessions. I'll just do a video on how to access and use these features. That way you don't have to sign up for a class. You can just watch the video, but it will only be made available to people who already have CRM access. Mr. Schulteis.
For LPIN.vote, is this supposed to be Morgan County at LPIN.vote or Morgan at LPIN.vote?
Morgan.
Okay.
And that's another thing. We've been working on designing an affiliate page for both districts and county parties. That way, if you go to lpin.org/Morgan, it will take you to a page that looks pretty. It has all of the contact information, the blurb about the county, the list of the officers, a nice header graphic, as well as if you want to use our internal contribution system, that goes to your Stripe account, not ours. So if somebody signs up on that contribution page, that money goes directly to you. However, it is logged in Civi as what's called a local contribution, which is another thing that we're working on turning on so that county treasurers and candidates will be able to add both their contributions into Civi. And it won't reflect on the state party. It's just reflective to the county party or the district. And then from there, now you can access this information and see who your donors are in your county. You'll be able to make, better decisions about fundraising requests, things like that. You can target specific people who've given X amount to your county party. Very useful stuff. Those are all things that are in the works getting turned on. There are other features that I've been asking for and working with the national on getting them turned on. One other thing about national party membership. So if you are a triple member, for instance, if in January of 2021, you had an auto renewing membership with the national party for $25, and then in February, you joined the triple member program, which also covers your national membership and it's auto recurring. The system does not automatically cancel your $25 recurring with national. There's no way to do that. However, we're going to be sending emails to people who are triple members that we see have a recurring membership with national, letting them know that they can either keep it and give the extra $25 to national, or here's how you request it being canceled by national. Also, if it was already charged to you, there'll be information. I talked to national about it and they will immediately process a refund if somebody requests it. So that way, you may only intend to give national $25 a year. If you have both of them, it may auto give 50 and you may not want that. So that's a little disconnect because of dumb stuff that happens in the national office that we won't go into, but that's something that's changing. The world's smallest political quiz, if you are doing that at your county fairs or things like that, you can, if you capture their contact info, which we're going to be printing new world's smallest political quiz cards that have contact info on them. So then you could do like a free raffle at your county fair. They take the quiz, they fill out the information, they drop it in the fishbowl, maybe, a free raffle, they win something cool. If you put that information into a spreadsheet and send it to Chuck at tech@lpin.org, Chuck will be able to upload that information. And now you can search for responses to the world's smallest political quiz. So you could search for people based off of their score. Did they get a 70% on or 70 points on economic? Well, I'm going to reach out to them about this economic issue. So that's a handy feature. Mr. Hagerman.
Time.
I just wanted to say that I've updated Jennifer Commissar Kern on the LPIN site and on the LPedia. So that's done.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Unless there are other questions about tech, we'll move on. District 1, Mr. Poland.
Hello. Yeah, District 1, not much to report. Both counties are planning our conventions. The only interesting thing that we have, because we're Lake County, one of the things we like to do here is we like to identify elected officials currently under indictment for people to run. So for instance, our sheriff was recently indicted and we've got a couple other people on the fence. So that'll be one of our goals, is to make sure that we have somebody in those positions. If for nothing else, just to kind of, be a thorn in their side along the way. So that's it for me.
Any questions for Mr. Poland? Okay, hearing none. District 2, Elizabeth Coquillard.
Okay, so Thursday I attended LaPorte's county business meeting, and that was great. They have an upcoming social on January 27th at 7 p.m. at Creekside Bar and Grill. I was informed by the chair that this has actually been a very successful event, commingling Republicans, Democrats, and Libertarians, and candidates and elected officials in the state. So I do suggest anybody local or within our district attend. And then Elkhart County has their business meeting January 22nd at 2 p.m. at my house. The event is on our Facebook page. Marshall County also has their business meeting January 26th. They are having their convention sometime in March after our state convention. And I do know that there's some leadership changes in Marshall County happening this month. I know a couple are stepping down, so they'll be reorganizing their leadership here shortly. And that's all I have.
I'm going to jump in there with a couple of things. I'm pretty sure Marshall County's bylaws say they have to hold their county convention prior to the state convention. I believe it actually says 30 days before as a minimum.
I was not aware of that, but I'll ask.
Also,
I'll ask them.
They have to have a county convention to select their delegates, which have to be supplied to the state party by February 20th.
They have to choose their delegates at their convention.
Yep, because they are elected by their members. They are not appointed by the officers. They are elected by their members. So they need to rethink their convention timeline. And yeah, because I know for a fact their bylaws state, because I helped them write them, they state that the convention must be held, their county convention must be held before the state convention. Every single county is like that. It's a requirement. And this is why, because the delegates are selected at the county convention by the members. And so they have to hold one. If they want to hold a convention now and then recess, which everybody knows that's been an encouraged thing, recess to a date certain for doing their elections and bylaws and nominating and everything like that, they can do that, but they still have to have a duly notified bylaws compliant convention prior to the state convention for the selection of delegates, at the very least, at the absolute bare minimum.
Gotcha. I'll pass along the information.
Any other questions for Ms. Coquillard on District 2? And that's something everybody, make sure your county chairs understand that. The delegates are selected by the members at the county convention, not by officers. District 3, Ms. Avery.
Not much to report. I have 3 upcoming county conventions, February 1st in Kosciuszko County, February 5th in Whitley County, and February 6th in Allen County. I have heard nothing from Wells County, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I submitted something for the newsletter, and I'm looking forward to attending all 3 of those county conventions. That's it.
I can tell you, just because I received this word yesterday and was waiting to tell you today, there was Wells County, the Yerglers, No problem. Everything's okay. I see people giving me scared looks. They had a Libertarian appointed to the health board the beginning of January. And what happened was there's a state law that says only a certain number of seats on any board can be held by the ruling party. And it's 4-3 or 4-3. So there could be 4 Republicans and 3 others, and they can appoint whoever they want for that. They had 6 and 1. And so they removed one person and appointed the Libertarian. The Democrat Party threw a fit and said the guy was a Republican, not a Libertarian, because he had previously voted in a Republican primary. He was a member prior to the appointment. So I drafted a letter stating that he was a member in good standing prior to the appointment to the health board, that the county party is duly authorized, and that the member was recommended by the county chair, Matt Yergler, to serve on the health board, and that there's no reason for them to reject this person's appointment to the health board, which is the news that I got yesterday was that it's fine. The situation is over. The Republicans did discover that they had an additional Republican on the board that they weren't supposed to have, so they've removed them. So Mr. Yergler is communicating with local party members to see if there's anybody else in the party that wants to serve on the county board, health board. As far as the convention,
one person that's on the board.
I don't remember his name. It's in the newsletter you'll get, and I'll email you. Actually, I thought I included you on the email with the letter. I might not have. I'll just send you the letter again.
You did.
Okay.
Like everything else that goes on in that county, I'm excluded.
Okay. Hold on. I'm writing a note. Send Avery Wells letter. Email. Okay, so I'll forward that email to you. But I don't know when their county convention is. I have no idea. Any questions for Ms. Avery? District 4, Dennis Beatty is absent. District 5, Mr. Nolan.
Yes, the fighting fifth. Hamilton County has already held their convention, went very well. They are waiting to make sure how many delegates they have also. I could not find anything in communications that I've gotten, unless it's hidden in another subject that has a link to the delegates. So I still need that. Grant County's conventions is February 5th. Madison County's is the 13th. I might add a little bit to what you were saying, that the notifications on most of your bylaws say that you have to give the members like 2 weeks or 30 days notice. So you're squeezed at both ends of the requirement of when you need to get the delegate there and the time frame you need to have your members know when the convention is. So he had scheduled a convention like a week, and I had to call him up and tell him the bylaws were incorrect. And so he has rescheduled it to the 13th of February. I've been in contact with Tipton and Boone County. They're in the process of trying to get something pulled together. I've been reaching out to Howard County, which is going to be in the 5th shortly, and I'm getting nothing but crickets so far. So that is pretty much my report. Thank you.
I did talk to Jake.
I saw that.
And there is a new email address for him. And I think I sent that to you.
Yes, sir.
It's exactly the same. It's just the ending, the .com is different. He does need some hand holding on setting up his county convention. Hamilton County, by the way, I just checked the sheet, is 8 delegates plus their county chair, plus
Right.
the treasurer.
Plus what? Oh,
The treasurer.
the state,
the-
right,
Right.
the state treasurer, right.
So 10 total, county chair and treasurer. Any
Thank you.
questions, Mr. Nolan?
Okay.
Okay, moving on, District 6, Mr. Silver, as a proxy for Mr. Lomax.
Hello. He's got Hancock County. We're doing our confirmed convention on January 29th at 4 p.m. in New Palestine. Shelby County is having their convention as well, where they will likely be voting in new officers. Luke is having trouble finding a county filter in CRM. So thanks to Danny Lundy of Morgan County, he was able to get the notifications for the convention sent out. And then he is asking for a list of county chair emails in District 6. And if possible, to set up some kind of recurring appointment schedule in Google Calendar or Apple Calendar for upcoming SCC meetings, as well as we are trying to find a notary for the Hancock County Convention.
To hit on a couple of those, sounds like Luke needs some more training on the CRM, so he should sign up for one of the schedules. I may do a separate one just for SCC and directors. That might be more beneficial than some of the county stuff. Let me think about that, and I might throw something up on the schedule. Because all of that is doable. The notary public, if you're, this was part of the convention training. If you look at public libraries, contact them ahead of time. Most public libraries have a notary on staff. If you're holding your event there, they will typically provide that service for free. You can also talk to your local bank. Most banks have a notary. You may have to pay them a couple bucks, but a lot of banks will, the person who provides that service within a bank will typically come and provide that service at your convention as well.
When is Hancock's in, is Shelbyville? Is that right?
No. Hancock's convention is going to be held in New Palestine. Shelby County separate. They're having a convention to vote new officers.
So Hancock is Greenfield?
Yes.
Okay. When's that convention?
January 29th at 4 p.m.
I'll see if I can get down.
Cool.
Can you send me? I'm a notary, so.
Okay, I'll let Luke know.
So if you would let me know, I'll try and get down there. I do have a conflict that day. I'll see if I can rectify it.
Sounds good. I'll let Luke know.
Thank you.
Just a moment here. If everybody on the SCC and directors, if you can send me evening times, a list of range of dates and times for a 1 hour period, maybe 1.5 hours for CRM training, a little bit more advanced. Send that to me so I can schedule something this week would be preferred. I'll take a look at it when I get done taking my sick nap, and then I'll schedule it based off of something where everybody's available, and then we'll do it that way.
You want to know when we're available next week? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Silver? Hearing none, District 7, Mr. Williams.
Thank you. So what's coming up in Marion County? We just had our business meeting on the 3rd. We'll have another business meeting the first Monday of February, but then the 5th is our annual convention. That'll be held at the Athenaeum. And I just added it to Civi, so you can find it there for more information, and the Facebook link if you are interested. Yeah, not much else to report at the moment. Just looking forward to the new year.
I will say, Mr. Williams, if you can check on this for me. I reached out to Rico. I sent him an email in connection with the potential 7th district candidate. The district or the member has been a member, but was actually in a different county and just recently relocated to Marion County, but is running to run for the 7th congressional. While that is done at the state convention, that nomination for all federal offices and all statewides and legislative are done at the state convention. Typically, we defer to Marion County since the entire 7th district is within your county. We will ask the county chair, the county delegation chair, their opinion on the candidate. We will ask them to speak on it to get their opinion before we don't want to saddle with you with a candidate you don't want. And we also don't want to NOTA a candidate you do want. I'd ask you to check with Rico because I have not seen him respond to that email.
Okay.
Actually, I believe you were actually included on it too. I think I did district rep and yeah.
I'll have to check, but I don't remember seeing that email.
I might have just added Rico. I might have just done that. I don't know. Mr. Pollan.
Mr. Beatty has joined our meeting.
Thank you, sir. Without objection, I'm going to circle back to Mr. Beatty for the 4th district report. Mr. Beatty, do you want to give your 4th district report?
Yeah, 4th district report. We do have that the Tippecanoe County convention took place on Monday. I haven't heard back from the chair for that party on any substantial things for that. It just happened, so I'm going to get with him and try to get details on that, on what happened in that convention. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the report. I know the Putnam County one is they were trying to get that organized too, but it hasn't happened yet. We're still having some issues getting some of the members into the meetings and stuff right now, so working on that as we speak. So.
Mr. Beatty, I do know I added you on this email. Did you see the email chain from the election division?
From the election division, I believe so. Where depending on where you registered for the CFA 4, right? Or CFA 3s.
This was the Tippecanoe County Election Board asking questions about the county convention.
Oh, was it the election board that was asking that? I thought it was just an individual. I didn't know if that's who that was. So
yeah, it's county convention or county election. But it seems resolved. But be in your bonnet. You or the county needs to be adding their events to the Facebook page, website. Adding the LPIN as a co-host, and then adding the events to the events page on the state website.
All right. As soon as I'll talk to someone to figure out how to get that to where you can put that on there. So,
okay. You've got an account request pending. We just need to get you signed up for a training session.
Right. And it's, my bad on that one. So
we did just talk about this. I'm asking all of the district reps today after the meeting to put their availability for the next week, in the evening for about an hour and a half. Put all the times that you're available, and we're going to do one group district rep training for the CRM.
Okay.
So just email that to me, chair@lpin.org.
Will do.
Any questions for Mr. Beatty? Okay, hearing none. District 8, Mr. Solomon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We took a little bit of a break in District 8 for the holidays, as I'm sure most of us did, but we hit the ground running in the new year. Owen County has already completed their county convention, and they have nominated and filed our first candidate in the district of the year, Rachel Combs, for Owen County Council District 4. So big congrats to Owen County for being on top of that. Posey County had their convention, but went into recess. They did not nominate candidates or delegates yet. They needed to make sure some scheduling things lined up. But I am informed there will be a township trustee candidate coming out of there. Other upcoming conventions we have Knox County on January 19th in Vincennes, Vandenberg County on February 6th down here in Evansville, Du Bois County February 12th in Jasper, the district convention February 26th at our headquarters in Vincennes. I encourage any members that are able to attend to come down and see how we do it in the 8th. Greene and Vigo County have not scheduled theirs yet. But tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern in Brazil, Indiana, Clay County is holding their convention on their chair's birthday. So I also want to give a birthday shout out to Mr. Beatty. What a level of commitment. And that there has been a formal announcement at the Owen County Convention that Andrew Horning is seeking the LPIN nomination for 8th Congressional District. So that is out in the ether now. If you knew about it and didn't feel like you could talk about it, you could talk about it.
We need to get the candidate information, including a headshot and stuff like that from Andy so that we can put him on the website. Same for Will Henry and James Siniak.
Has Andy not filled out that form yet?
It's a new form. This is specifically the form for campaign information so that we can add the candidate campaign to the civvy.
And that's the one on the candidate tab?
No. Yes. Wait, hold on.
So like when you go to lpin.org, hit candidates, there's a, run for, I can pull it up.
No, it's not up there. It's not on there.
It's not that?
No. This is a different thing. This isn't about it doesn't have policy questions or anything like that. It doesn't exist yet. Chuck is trying to finish making it. But it's all of the campaign information, including who they're running against. Is it a primary? Is it partisan? It has a bunch
so
of
it's a form that doesn't exist yet.
Correct.
Okay, so all the forms that do exist that you're supposed to fill out, he did.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, that's
our
end's good then.
Any questions for Mr. Solomon? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Hirsch, District 9.
Okay. Morgan County had their county convention last Saturday, January 8th, and I attended. Of course, it'd be the last convention of them being in the 9th district. They're switching to the 6th or the 4th district effective after our convention. So I spoke, went great. Washington County is having their convention on Thursday, February 17th. In fact, Washington County is now moving their monthly meetups to the 3rd Thursday rather than the 2nd Thursday. That's a new change from them. Jackson County, newly affiliated, is doing their convention tomorrow. I will be attending at a place called B&H Electric. Lawrence County is doing their convention this coming Wednesday, January 19th, at a place called Downtown at the Cars. I will be there. They're really growing. Monroe County, I've been in touch with Matt Batman and more recently Dr. Navir about getting Monroe County affiliated. He plans on attending Lawrence County's convention. I'll meet him in person. In fact, he's here at our chat or the Zoom meeting right now. Talking with Harrison County, Jeffrey Ross Redden has been talking with Brian Tincher about getting Harrison County rebooted. They're still affiliated, but they've been inactive lately ever since their chair, Sean Bostic, resigned. Anyway, get them going again. Clark and Floyd. We had our Clark and Floyd had joint county convention this past Tuesday, January 11th. Tanya Millis came down and spoke, who was our congressional candidate 2 years ago, is running for Congress again. Both our Senate candidates, James Siniak and William Henry, came down and spoke. And then from Morgan County, Eric Allen came down and spoke on behalf of Jeffrey Marr for Secretary of State, being that's an important race this year. One big change is Floyd County now has a new chair, Jennifer Commissar Kern, who is in the Zoom meeting with us. She is now the Floyd County chair. And we're going to get Floyd County growing again, active. Now, what am I missing here? Oh, from Jefferson County, who's newly in the 9th District, of Ronald Hoffenkamp was at the Clark County Convention, and we're going to get, he's excited to get things going in Jefferson County. We're going to get them affiliated. And he's reached out to a few people there. So, and anyway, a bunch of new counties. That's one of my goals as a district rep, to get the counties out east, our newly counties affiliated. Also, when Tanya Billis, I emailed Aaron Adams, who's the chairman of the National Convention in Reno, about getting Tanya Billis a speaking slot at the National Convention, being that Tanya Billis had the highest vote totals of any congressional candidate in a three-way race as a Libertarian in 2020. So far, no response from Aaron Adams. So we'll keep trying, though.
Couple of things. Harrison County, I've been in communication with Harrison County. They reached out and asked what they needed to do they wanted to know the status of the county party and what they needed to do to be really reaffiliated. And I informed them that there was only one party member in the county, and therefore they were actually going to be added to the agenda for our February meeting for disaffiliation. And they had no officers listed because people resigned. And so they were on the schedule for disaffiliation discussions. And they quickly switched that around and got their 2 party members, and they're working to call their convention and get all their paperwork together. So they're really gung-ho. They're really excited about reactivating Harrison County, and they specifically asked for support and helping getting active and doing stuff. So I'm excited about Harrison County. As far as the national convention goes, I can tell you from insider information that I have, the probability of getting anyone anywhere a speaking spot at the national convention is slim to none. There's a lot of fighting going on about that right now. And it is very unlikely that they are going to be offering any additional speaking spots. I will say that there have been multiple people who have reached out to the convention committee chair asking questions about the national convention, including purchasing tables and sponsors and rooms and things like that, and they get absolutely no response. My suggestion would be to email our district rep, or region rep, Mr. Dustin Nana, those concerns. And if he gets enough of them, he can take them to the national chair, Whitney, and say, hey, we're not hearing anything about the national convention. Our people are left wondering what they're supposed to do. I know Russell Brooksbank requested purchasing a table at the national convention and has heard nothing. So Dustin Nana, and it's dustin.nana@lp.org. And Nana is Nana.
Yes, I know him. I have his number in my contacts.
Send him a formal email letting him know about Tanya, and he can forward it on to the appropriate channels there.
Mr. Chair, I got 2 items I need to mention. One, we're at past time actually. I'd like to request an additional 2 minutes. And then secondly, I have a question for Mr. Hirsch I need to ask.
Any objection to extending by 2 minutes? Hearing none, go ahead, Mr. Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Greg, Matt Batman, I know, communicated to me by email about his interest in wanting to help affiliate Monroe County. Have you been able to arrange for him to meet with Dr. Kavar yet about on working towards that goal?
I put the 2 in touch, both their contact info, and I'll see if he's going to attend the Lawrence County Convention this Wednesday. I know that Dr. Kavar is, and if he will attend, that'd be a great place for him to meet this coming Wednesday in Bedford at the Lawrence County Convention.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
On a personal note, and I know Dr. Kavar is in the session, I would really love it if we could get the convention, the organizing convention for Monroe County scheduled and completed in time for Monroe County to be considered an affiliate at this year's state convention. That would warm my heart. That's my hometown. That's where I'm from. So I would really love it to see Monroe County get reaffiliated prior to the state convention, which means it would have to be by February 12th because the SCC would have to vote on it unless we scheduled a special meeting to do it, to give them a little bit more time. I don't think anybody would object to a special meeting with proper notice if an affiliation request came in prior to the deadline to be considered an active affiliate for the state convention. Mr. Nolan, you would be the only one that would object. Would you object? He's muted, but I believe he was saying, no, Evan, I will always do what you ask.
I was very close.
So, Greg, if you can work with them, and, Dr. Kavar, I'm available if you need any help, as with any of the temporary chairs. If you need any help or assistance getting your organizing convention off the ground, I'm available to you whenever you need. Any other questions for Mr. Hirsch? All right. I have a personal question, Mr. Hirsch.
Okay.
Am I saying your last name right?
Yes, it's pronounced like Hirsch, rather with church, lurch.
Yes. Okay. Because somebody asked me that the other day, and I said, well, I've always called him Hirsch, but he's the type of guy I don't think he would correct me if I was wrong. So I'm going to make sure. So yes, excellent.
I have my pronunciation on my Facebook.
Do you?
Yeah, or you, on your info where you can put down how your name is pronounced.
Oh. Very cool. Let's see. I think that was it for district reports. Let me find the agenda here.
We're on to convention.
2022 convention. Miss Brenton. Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, sorry, I was on the other side of the room. Happy thing, my daughter just bought a car. I was trying to find the insurance stuff for her before she goes pick it up. Okay, convention. Moving right along, we now have the breakfast for 1994 Society. They finally returned my call. And so we've got an invoice on that. Of course, it's a little bit higher than we want to see, but I guess that's all the time with supply chains and COVID. Other than that, I will be reaching out to my convention committee members to get some help on filling some spots. So be sure to look for your email. Other than that, not much to report. Just excited about it.
We do have 2 potential additional speakers, trainers. Brian Nichols, who is moving to Indiana. He's part of the We Are Libertarians Network podcast. He is interested in being one of the trainers, which is great because that means if we do have him, we don't have to pay for travel.
Oh, great lead. Thank you.
Yeah. There's also another person that I'm discussing with, and I'll forward that information on, who would also be talking about, how to sell liberty, how to communicate with non-libertarians about libertarian issues. But we're in the early stages of that discussion. Vendor tables, that page for vendor tables will be up by Friday. Just an FYI.
That is great news. Forum Credit Union made some extra space for us, so we're going to get an extra 3 or 4 tables. We didn't have
how many total do you think did they say?
I think our final count's going to be at 11 or 12, and I think we had 8 last year.
Okay. That's what I figured because I was at an event there at the forum for a Chamber of Commerce event, and they had 12 tables in that little in the front area. because they didn't have the COVID restrictions anymore on spacing. So I
Did it
figured,
feel crowded at 12 or?
no, it didn't. I actually thought we could probably put a couple more in there, but I'm greedy and want as many tables sold as possible. I will say that we are reserving a couple of tables. One table will be reserved for press. One table is being reserved for the 8th district because they had expressed interest in purchasing one. One table will be reserved for our event sponsor, convention sponsor. Other than that, I don't have anybody who I believe has asked to have a table reserved for them. So if there is somebody, I think Morgan County might have requested. Mr. Lundy.
He just posted in the chat that Morgan County would like one.
Okay, perfect. So then Morgan County as well. And I do believe that was it for people who had requested a reserved table.
Duly noted.
So we want to, but as soon as the page goes live, we will communicate with them first so that they have, before anybody else sees it, they have the opportunity to secure their table. I will say that the majority of the SCC have not yet purchased their convention packages. There are a few exceptions. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I know Miss Avery, Mr. Nolan, as well. I believe Mr. Hirsch has. Mr. Schulteis did not, I don't think. Mr. Solomon, I believe, did. No, he did not.
The early bird special runs till the 31st, correct?
It ends on the 31st, correct.
Okay. Yeah,
The 31st
Christmas.
is the last day. Yeah,
Christmas was a drain on the funds.
I hear you. I hear you. Any questions about the convention?
I don't have a question, but I did get, Brian did get back to me about Spike. Although he's going to be in Pennsylvania, he did offer to do a live Zoom or to speak at any point during our convention if we would like him to. Also, what was the other thing I want to say? Oh, did you ever get like an application for trainers made up or anything?
No, and I think we're solid on the trainers now. I think the only thing that I think we have left is
Panel discussion.
I think we bumped that. I think that got bumped.
Okay, good. I wasn't a
fan
fan.
that I saw on the thing. The only spot that's left is the dinner keynote. Because this is a surprise for Will and James. Whichever one of you gets the nomination will be the speaker at the 94 Society breakfast. So now you've got more incentive to win the nomination. You get the 94 Society speaking spot. One of the reasons why the 94 Society breakfast is going to be a little bit more expensive than last year is one, COVID pricing has gone up significantly in the food service industry. The second reason is, I believe, Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, we had only purchased for 50 people for last year's, but we ended up having like 66 show up.
That's correct. That's also why we ran out of food a little bit early.
So we bumped it up to 80.
Yeah, well, the room we had last year, because that was the only place we could find, only seated 50 people. So we had way too many people in that room on top of everything else.
And they've got more space for us this year.
We increased it to 80 because we have more 94 Society members, and we anticipate there being more 94 Society members coming, and we'd rather have a little extra than not have enough, because there were people who attended the breakfast who basically got a cup of coffee and a grape and a slice of orange, and they got to look at the bacon. So we want to, that is one of the big benefits that we talk about is the 94 Society breakfast. So we want to make sure people actually get a breakfast and not an intermittent fasting breakfast.
Is it still the intent to bring a guest
It is preferred. I don't think it's not free, but we would like people to bring a guest to the breakfast. I know like Russell Brooks Bank and a few other people did the same thing, but it's the extra ticket. And this year, I believe it's $50 or $60 ticket for the breakfast for the guest. However, if you are at the convention and you're meeting somebody who is a 1994 Society member, be sure to ask them, are you coming to the breakfast tomorrow? Did you register for the breakfast tomorrow? And if they say no, say you need to go. This is one of the perks. Any other questions about the convention? Mr. Nolan. You're muted, Mr. Nolan.
I just wanted to remind you that I got to drop off at 12:30. If there's any business that you need me to be a part of previous to that.
Does anybody object to moving item number A under new business district maps up for a minute on the agenda, or moving that to next on the agenda? Okay, hearing no objection. Morgan, we're going to jump to district maps for 5 minutes under new business. One of the issues that we're having with the new district maps in Civi is I cannot grant you access to other counties in a district and have you be able to communicate with them. And as such, as the district rep, your responsibility right now is actually to be organizing the counties in your new district for their district convention, meaning you need to be talking to them about calling the convention and voting for the new district rep. As such, seeing that this is an issue, and technically the new district maps are in place, I would like to go ahead and rejigger the district maps within Civi. So basically give you the districts under the new map. Does that make sense?
Give you the counties.
Right.
Give you the counties under the new map.
Right. And you would lose the counties that you would be losing under the new district maps. So it's basically putting the new district maps into effect within Civi for you. Does that make sense?
I so moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Nolan. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Rigg. Is there any additional discussion? Anybody have any questions or comments about it?
I have one quick question. We're still representing those counties up until the time of the convention, right?
Correct.
Even though we were losing them under Civi. Okay.
Correct. And it's kind of this weird situation. So you are still representing them, but technically like the new district is who would be holding the district convention and appointing the new district rep.
Right.
So that's
this gives us a chance to talk to them and get that organized and everything else, but we also still have to make sure we can still communicate with the old counties for their needs too.
Actually, it's a weird situation because you won't have access to them in the system anymore, your old counties. So you kind of won't be able to. You're kind of going to have to rely on the other district rep to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we can do some coordination on that. I'm sure it's not a big deal.
You would still have their emails and officer list and emails from your current. I mean, you can still communicate with them. You just wouldn't be able to pull down their membership.
Right. Or send emails via Civi, or set up events for them or things like that.
Okay.
I think this just needs a voice vote. I don't think we need to do a roll call, unless there's an objection to a voice vote. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Okay, thank you. We will get that done this week.
Kathy, I love you.
What? What'd you say, Christine?
I said goodbye, Cassie. I love you.
Oh. I was like, is she leaving the meeting? I didn't see that listed anywhere. No, because you're losing her county. Oh. Okay. Moving back to the agenda as presented, we're actually at a 10-minute break. Do you guys want to take the 10-minute break?
Yes.
Okay. We will stand and recess. The time is 12:26. We will stand and recess until 12:36. The live feed will continue to be going and the recording will continue as well. So do bear that in mind.
I won't be back after the recess, so everybody be safe and take care of yourselves.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nolan.
You, Greg.
Greg, see you soon.
So, Mr. Hagerman, it sounds like you need to get on the ball with that form.
Well, it's designed. I'm just now doing the database side of it to connect the form to the sheet. So it was an hour-long video. I'm about halfway through it.
Okay, cool. And is there a way to have the alert to go to myself, the political director? It should probably go to the secretary as well. Alyssa, do you think you should get those candidate forms for the record? Madam Secretary?
Sorry, I'm here. I was just updating. Say that again real quick, though.
So the forms on the candidate information, it's not the candidate application, it's the information about their campaign. Do you want a copy of that sent to you?
Yeah, that would be great. Then I can update them.
Okay.
Also, I never did get that email for that link. So for the
it was the really long email that had all of the information about all the training sessions, the newsletter, the conventions, the statewide calls, the new member meetup. It was a really, really long email. That like 15 people read.
And that could be where I'm missing it, but honestly.
Well, you can also find it in Sheets.
I'll look for it.
2022 LPIN County Delegate Count.
Because I have nothing really in the secretary email from you other than the members, Mr. Esterling's letter. And that's other than this meeting, that's it. Just a heads up.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I don't know.
Check your spam and junk folder.
I did that.
Maybe promotions.
Pretty sure I looked there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, without being on my laptop to see promotions like you said, but as far as on my phone for spam, yeah, it's not in spam. So.
Hey Chuck, can you get into Civi, look under Alyssa and see, it was like December 28th or something like that.
I mean, it may have gone to a different email.
No, it would have gone to, maybe because you might not be in Civi under your secretary name.
I was, because that's how I got my credentials, but the form and everything I filled out for national.
Mm-hmm. But so here's one of the weird things. If you make a contribution and you use a different email.
I know what happened.
Yeah.
I bet I canceled that. Yeah, then I probably canceled it out and it I don't know what email address it went to then. Okay.
And Chuck, if you look at her, if her primary email is something other than secretary@lpin.org, can you switch that?
All right.
Hey, and sorry, but if real quick, I never receive emails from the state, like for the training in March, never received an email, never received the update. I was supposed to get all the information digitally. I don't get any emails. I don't know if there's a way to check it.
Let me look you up while he's doing that.
She's currently secretary.
Well, when I get back
I
to,
just sent you an email the other day, Jennifer. Or no, I sent you a thing about this, the invite for this meeting.
Yeah, the invite for this I did receive, but as far as like
done through the
okay, as far as like these group emails or updates about trainings and things like that.
You might not have gotten the training one because you weren't the county chair yet, and they were only made available to officers or people designated. So I've got jennifer.commissar@gmail.com.
And 2 M's, 1 S in my last name. That's usually okay. Yes. Okay. All right.
But let me look here.
But if it's possible to get an email, or if it's going to be sent out again on trainings, I'd love to have that. That'd be great.
You were sent one, and you opened it on December 24th, Christmas Eve, called LPIN Achievements in 2021, as well as the LPIN Holiday Party.
Got that. Okay, so I am getting them. It's just I didn't get the training one because
you weren't a county chair yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
but you're in
All
the
right.
system now as a county chair, so the next email that goes out with the list of available dates will go out to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for checking.
Hey, no problem.
Evan, I don't think I'm receiving, well, I know I'm not receiving anything for Elkhart County. I think that Arlen still may be chair in our
No,
system.
you're listed as chair. You don't get it because it's own whatever your top level relationship is. That's what gets sent out. So you would get it as the district rep.
Okay.
And let me look it up here, Elizabeth. Yeah, and see now your email address is going to your personal instead of your district 3. So that's an issue. But as far as mailings, let me look and see what you've received. You got the cheat sheets. You got the county party, LPIN county party urgent. The LPIN achievements in 2021.
I can't find the delegate email that you guys were talking about earlier.
Okay. Let me check here real quick.
Will Gibson has joined us.
Who is Will Gibson?
Can we ask him to identify himself?
Sure. Can you please identify yourself, Mr. Gibson? Mr. Gibson, please identify yourself. If you do not identify yourself, you will be removed from the event, from the trainings, or from the SCC meeting. It was on the email that went out was actually December 8th. And it's under state convention. The title of the email is LPIN CRM Access Training and More on December 8th. And the link was in the state convention section. So let's look at this, Mr. Gibson. I don't see him anywhere.
Would that have been under my personal email? Because I don't have anything for the 8th.
Who is this, Elizabeth? Yes, because it's going to your personal. So it would have been to whatever your personal email address is.
Okay.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Crowder.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where it went. However, I am changing that to district. I am changing that to be your main email address.
My question, I have a similar question. And I had a member that was really upset that he didn't receive any state emails, any training or anything. And I guess he had opted out of correspondence when he signed up for membership.
If you opt out, we can't send you anything. So
yeah, he did it on accident, I think, but he still was really upset about it.
I'm sorry you're really upset about it, but if you opt out, there's nothing I can do in the system. I cannot override it. Is Mr. Gibson still in the call?
I didn't see him.
No, it appears he dropped out right after you asked to identify himself.
It was weird because it was Gibson from Arizona. And I don't know how somebody from Arizona would have gotten the link.
Yeah, it was showing LPAZ.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are back. It is 12:38. We're back in session. Yeah, Elizabeth, if somebody opts out, there's absolutely nothing we can do about that. They can be mad all they want. I've had a couple other people that have, sent hateful emails to the state party. And then when I look them up, they've opted out.
Is that like an option that can be accidentally, pushed easily?
Not when you're signing up. It's when you click on an email, you unsubscribe or report it as spam. There was a county chair. There's multiple county chairs who have opted out. Also, if you opt out of national, you opt out of Indiana. So.
Ooh, that's an issue.
It is what it is. That's, we use it is a combined system. If I update your information in our system, it updates it in national. If national updates your information, it updates it on us.
Well, yeah, I get that, but it's an issue because some people don't want to be a part of national, but they want to be a part of the LPIN. So maybe he did that on purpose, thinking he just didn't want to be a part of national politics and now can't receive LPIN.
Well, if he's a national party member, that's the only way it would matter. If he was not a national party member, what have you, or had not been, but that's I can't do anything about it. Sorry.
Mr. Chair, to answer your question from earlier, the email was on December 27th, and it went to the secretary at lpin.org email address.
Okay.
What was the date on that again?
December 27th. And the name of the email was LPIN County Party Urgent. It was actually sent twice, once at 3:01 and then again at 3:15.
And there was another one December 8th that also had the link in it that was title LPIN
CRM Access Training and More.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's there also.
Okay, back to the agenda schedule, 2022 elections. Talking to the Indiana Election Division yesterday in an email exchange, they still don't have the completed forms. So like the CAN 23 is not available yet, which is, it is what it is. We technically can't use it until our convention anyway. But, you know, it's January 15th. Like that form should be done and ready. When I asked them about it, they said they're working on it. They included the guy who's actually in charge of recreating the forms and things like that. And so, you know, hopefully they get that done soon. Also talked to the state about the listing of updating the districts within the voter registration file. And the response that I got was essentially, we're working on it. We don't know when it'll be done. And I said, you know, for the Republicans and Democrats, their window for filing their legislative seats just opened and is going to close here real soon. What are you going to do if your district has to match what you're running for? So if your voter registration says you're in the 12th district, but the new maps are for the 13th, the clerk has to, in the election division, has to go by what your voter registration is, not what the state has said the maps are. So they're having some issues with that. It's also difficult for us because it makes it the easiest way for us to figure out who is in what district is to look them up in the voter registration list. But that's not been updated. So that is an ongoing issue that I'm asking them about consistently and regularly. That is pretty much, Mr. Solomon. You're muted.
I'm usually good about that. On the redistricting thing, I just wanted to double check something with you to see if you knew the answer to this. For state legislative seats that say you have to be a resident of the district you're running for a certain amount of time, if a candidate was in another district and they got redistricted out, is it now considered that they haven't resided there long enough, or is it?
So the only thing that would change is if you moved into that district or moved out of that district. So if you are redistricted into the new district, you are considered having residency in that district. However, if you, let's say, for example, you were in the 12th, and then you moved into part of the 12th that gets redistricted as part of the 13th, during that move, if you weren't there long enough, you would not be eligible. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if their current address is located, let's say they've lived there forever, if that address gets redistricted, they've lived in that new district for the requisite amount of time.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions? Comments? Anything? For those districts that don't have a congressional candidate, please work on that. If you need help, I'm happy to help. I'd like to get all the congressional seats filled. Also, potentially need a treasurer candidate as well for statewide, not to replace Michael Schulteis.
Did the candidate that was interested back out?
Yes. They're leaving the state. I'm like, well, I mean, you know, keep a P.O. box here. It'll be good. We'll just do what the Democrats do. John Schick, I'll just go ahead and say this now. John Schick is going to seek the nomination for auditor. He has experience in this. He's also run for the auditor position once, I think maybe twice before. And he actually did a really good job the last time. Got some really good press hits and quotes. That's not official, but he is going to. Membership reports. Like I said earlier, Kristen's going to be coming up this week to my place so that we can send out the backdated membership benefit packages to people. So that will be all completed next week. Everybody will be current. And we're going through some of those packages that would have gone out where people have either renewed or changed their membership type. We're pulling those out, redoing those with the second batch so that you'll get an updated one. Not, you're not going to get the card that says your membership expires in November. You'll get a new one that says it expires this November instead of last November. Membership is down a little bit. We've dropped by about 20 people as state party members, but those are renewal issues where the credit card payment did not go through, probably because of a new credit card information. So that's something that myself and Morgan will be working on the next couple of weeks, is to get those credit card payments updated for people. But overall, our state party membership is actually up significantly. If you remember, this same time last year, our state party membership was just under 400, and now it's like 515. So state party membership is up. Our triple membership is still continuing to grow. We're now in the process, we're in the period where people are renewing their triple membership, so that's cool. Yeah, so that's basically my membership report for right now. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Pullen for 2 minutes to give us an update on the Never Gonna Happen HR policy.
Continuing with that saga. So I don't know if Danny's still on. Danny, I reached out to the organization you mentioned. They also did not get back to me. So I don't know if you had a specific contact there that you could send me. That would be great. So just slowly learning how to write an RFP, because that's something I haven't done before. So if possible, I don't know if anybody has RFP experience, because it's kind of where I'm getting hung up at. That's the piece I wanted to do next, was write an RFP and see if anybody would respond. So that's kind of all I've got right now.
Greg Nolan does have experience doing that for organizations. So and Greg's on your committee. So I would reach out to Greg and ask him to take that on.
Okay, I've got something sort of roughly, Greg. So I'll send you kind of what I'm working on and see if this is anywhere. Oh, okay, he left. So yeah, so I'll send that to him and see if this is anywhere near, what we would send out. Since he's on the committee, then he'll help me write it. We'll run it by Lucy and, maybe send it out for next month.
Okay, perfect. Any questions for Mr. Pullen? Okay, hearing none. Last item on the agenda, printed materials. I'm going to raise some money for us to do a big push for new printed materials, including getting our own World's Smallest Political Quiz posters printed, new World's Smallest Political Quiz cards. I had asked before a few months ago in the leadership group about topics for push cards. These are small blurbs, 2 paragraphs, normal people language, not, libertarians. This is not messaging for us. This is messaging for normal people. We need to pick 10 topics to have those cards printed. A brochure about the Libertarian Party of Indiana, just a little, trifold, just about the party, just a basic overview, not really any policy positions, but just, we're better than everybody else. Getting those printed. There've been requests from counties for these items. I just got a request from Christy Avery yesterday for these types of things. We don't have them. The box of materials that I have, some of those things date back, to the late 90s, early thousands. they're all completely outdated. And so, it'd be nice to get some new stuff printed. I will raise the money to do that before I bring it back to get authorization to do it. There are people who want to give money for that specific thing to be done. However, we need the topics. So I'm going to ask you guys to put together a list, each of you, each district rep, to put together a list of 10 issues. And they need to be not hyper focused issues. They need to be kind of a broad issue. So like, I'm going to use this example. Gun rights would be the broad issue, not constitutional carry. Does that make sense? Then we're going to have the communications team and a couple other people that do good jobs with policy writing sit down and write those 2 paragraphs on that particular topic. I would like to also, when we get those things done, there are national cards that are national policies that we can order from the national party and have those in bulk. But we won't need to do anything with that other than ordering them. So I'm not asking for anything right now other than every district rep to put together a list of 10 things. And for the county chairs and temporary chairs that are on the call, if you would like to do that as well, please do. Please put together a list of 10 items and send them to me at chair@lpin.org. And we will get the ball rolling on that. In theory, I'd like to have this done so that they're available at the state convention in March. So as soon as possible would be great. Any questions about that?
On those 10 issues, do you want like just the top line, what the issue is, or do you want us to kind of expand on why we're saying that? Or is it just, here's an issue, Evan, write whatever you think is correct on that?
I mean, you can give more detail if you want to. Okay. That's perfectly acceptable. Also try to make them issues that are relevant most specifically to Indiana, things that matter here. So let's not talk about foreign policy. Not using the phrase ending the drug war, because that's not really the resonant thing in Indiana. We have to talk about it in a different way here in Indiana. That's more of a national speak type of thing. You can also do this top line. Here's the big, bold issue, but underneath it, here's like the specific thing that I think matters, the hyper-focused issue for Indiana, and here's why. So like if we're talking about criminal justice reform, as the top line for Indiana, then it's, not locking people up for victimless crimes type of thing, or whatever.
I think it's useful to try to synthesize the index that they used for the Freedom in the 50 States ranking to kind of narrow this down.
I don't remember it. I know I saw it, but I don't.
I mean, it's like a long index of here's how we grade states, and it's a number of broad issue areas and then broken down into further issue areas.
Do you have the link for that? Riddle.
Drop it in the chat.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments about the look at Morgan County not following the rules and sending 16 instead of 10? Thank you, Danny. I do appreciate it. Any other questions or comments about printed materials? Is there any other printed material other than what I mentioned that you would like to see? Actually, I'm going to extend time on this, and we're just going to go around the room, and we're going to do district by district. What's a printed material that you'd like to see? Chuck Pullen, you're first.
Man, putting me on the spot. I think one of the things I'd like to see, one of the things that I always found is interesting for instance, whenever gas prices go up at the pump, some gas stations put this little sticker on that says where your taxes go. I know like in Chicago, when they raised taxes, a lot of small businesses would put stickers that basically say, hey, here's, we didn't raise your prices, the taxes went up. So things like that, I think, are great. I think the idea of walking into a restaurant or going somewhere and it says, hey, this is where your taxes go, or even now with inflation or anything like that, something that would be good for small business owners, because, that's, kind of like the, I did that stickers that everybody's putting on the gas stations, something like that, that could kind of go viral about, taxes and things like that, I think would be great.
I'm not saying that I have 1,500 Biden I did that stickers.
I'm not saying I got any for Christmas either. Nobody's saying that, because that'd be wrong to do that.
One of the things that I am concerned about is that having stickers that are going to be used, and the intent behind them is for them to be put on
things. Magnets would be ideal, because like even like at a restaurant, you can put a magnet on there, and it would, like in Chicago, I can send you some pictures where this hot dog stand said, here's where all your money goes. It literally lists. They are in one of those, in Chicago, they have all these weird districts. So you're in an entertainment district and all this stuff. The next thing you know, you have like 15-20% sales tax. Yeah. And it's good for people to see that. I mean, there are some places were putting it on the receipts and stuff like that. So I think a magnet's the way to go, because like you said, it won't do that. But it's also, a lot of small business owners would kind of look at that and go, look, I get complaints about raising prices or whatever. I think that would be helpful for them.
That's an interesting thing. Just to expand on that, it might be worthwhile for a county chair, if we provided them those stickers, to send a letter to local businesses, including that sticker.
Well, like you said, I mean, I guess it's a question is, like, a magnet is less destructive if you're worried about that, because that's the last thing you want is to start saying the Libertarian
logo.
If
you're putting one sticker in a letter to send to a business owner, encouraging them to put the sticker up, that's them with the sticker up.
Right.
Okay.
No, I think that's good. Or even like county option income tax, stuff like that. Like when we passed our county option income tax, people came to me a year later and said, why did my taxes go up $1,500? And I'd explain to them how the county option income tax worked. So anything that would help educate people, especially like I said, now with small businesses, they're being blamed for the rise in prices. You kind of say, look, it's taxes. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. District 2, Elizabeth Coquillard.
Well, I don't know what type, but I know what I really want to talk about this year. I want to talk about cannabis legalization and medical freedom. I think that's a hot topic for 2022 that, the Republicans are talking about and have bills for, and Democrats are talking about and have bills for. And I think that the LPIN needs to, really step up with cannabis. Also, like talking about, the vaping regulations that have occurred. I don't think people are really in the know about that, especially even store owners. So I think that's something that can be talked about quite a bit, but I don't know. I'm pretty put on the spot with this.
Just as a side note, all of the medical freedom bills in the state legislature are dead. Just FYI. So they talked about it, but they weren't serious about it. District 3, Miss Avery.
Something I might suggest is something that we did a long time ago, maybe back in 2015 or so, banners for each of the districts. I still have District 3s, but I mean, obviously it's quite old. And something that my county party has been looking for is like tabletop signage. I know you and I have discussed this before, and we've just never gotten around to doing anything about it. But signage that you can put up when you're having meetings out in public restaurants and things like that, so that, people from a distance would be able to identify you. Things like that would be helpful. But another thing that I like are the LPIN branded tip cards. I think Morgan County was selling some of those at the convention. I go through a lot of those. Little things like that.
The tip cards are definitely on my list of needed things, branded LPIN. Sorry, I was clicking on your link. Thank you, Jay, for that link. District 4, Mr. Beatty.
I would think something along the lines of some mailings would be good. I don't know if we have anything like formal or planned out for that, but maybe something we could put together that has that list of items on it, that we could then use, our own money to send out to the people. But that would be good for the counties to have, I think.
So kind of like you're thinking like a postcard with issues and things like that on it, but then the county party would be sending those out to people in their county.
Yeah, try to get people and that help us get people excited for the county party. But if we have something that's kind of making sure it's in line with what the state is trying to do too, what our collective goal is, I think that'd help both of us.
Okay. Do you envision that being? Would you think that would be like let's say all of the 10 items we're talking about, or do you think like having a stack of postcards printed for individual issues?
I could see both, especially if we could start pinpointing certain hot topic issues for that period of time, so we can get into their attention. And it's not something we have to do like a one-off. We can do like every month, send something out, or not so much that we're becoming obnoxious in their mailbox and they're just throwing it away, but something that they'll see once in a while and go, oh yeah, let me think about that. And then so certain topics like that would be good too.
Okay, thank you, sir. District 6, Mr. Silver.
I like all the ideas. I would just add flyers for newspaper inserts.
I think that's something that probably should be done by the county party. We can design the template for them, but the flyer is going to have like, I would think would have information about the local county party and their events and stuff like that. So like we can create a template for them, but I think they're probably going to need to print that themselves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But we should definitely create that template, something easy for county parties to use and print for a couple different sizes. That's a good idea. They could also submit it as an ad instead of just an insert. They could, use that artwork in the actual newspaper flyer templates.
Yeah. I'd only mention the insert because we have a pretty good relationship with the local paper, and she's already let us know that they will help us wherever we need.
Nice. Oh, I'm sorry. That was District 6. District 5 is gone. District 7, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, the only thing I'm coming up with is I read a lot of libertarian books when I read books, not as often as I'd like, but branded bookmarks would be nice. Something to remind people as they're, engaging in ideas that maybe they could put those into action.
Okay. District 8, Mr. Solomon.
Really, the only thing that I would really like to see is voters' guide to libertarian candidates with all of our candidates' information. I don't know if it's smart to just do it, including statewide, so that we don't have to reprint for different areas, or maybe doing like, okay, in this area, here's some more specific down ballot, whatever's resource efficient.
I've actually already designed it's called a slate piece, is what that's called, or a slate card. And I've already designed one that will have the statewide and federal candidates on one side. And then, so it starts at the congressional level. Then it's on the other side, you have the state legislative candidate, and then all of the local county candidates. And so it will take a few of them to be printed for each county and each district in each area, but it won't be too difficult to drop that.
Okay, I mean, how do you just want to do like 9 different versions of it, or more than that?
So there'll be more than that, because you're going to have, every state house candidate will be on one, and you're not going to have multiple state house candidates in one piece for a congressional district. Does that make sense?
Okay. I mean,
we're talking about hundreds of versions of it, essentially.
Okay.
But don't yell at me for this, but it's something that we actually used to do for the Republican Party. And it was, you just sat down and there's a formula for making sure you're getting everybody in the right spots.
Wait, the LPIN used to do that for the Republican Party? Oh, good. That's what you should be doing as a political party. I have no objections to that.
I mean, I was doing it when I was a Republican, so it was over a decade ago.
Yeah, and that's because that's my idea. Is just do that, but not them, us.
Right. And I've been using the old system that I used for creating them years ago. It's basically, it's how you map it so that you make sure you're not missing any districts or any candidates, because it's real easy to do when you're talking about that many. I'm going to go ahead and jump to Mr. Schultheis because he's got his hand up, and then we'll come back to Mr. Hirsch.
For the 5th district, Lori and I have been focused on growing Hamilton County Party. Things like taxes and single issue things like Second Amendment would help when we partner with things like gun ranges and firearm stores and stuff. I'm not sure if we had a multi-issue thing, if it would be that interesting to some groups of people we're reaching out to. So having the ability to have targeted flyers or whatever would probably be helpful.
I mean, when I was saying the 10 issues, I want each of those to end up being its own rack card. That was kind of like National does. National has, I think they have 15 issues, and each one of them is its own card, essentially. So definitely I want to do that as when we're talking about the 10 issues. There's no way we're going to be able to put on a single piece all 10 issues and have it be coherent. It'd be very difficult to do that unless it's huge. But yeah, I definitely want to do individual pieces on those 10 issues. Mr. Hirsch.
Okay, the LPIN, we used to do this before, but we had a thing called the Small Business Initiative, which we had flyers for. Basically, the Libertarian Party is the friend of small business, not big mega corporations. That's what a real free market is, a small business.
And I think I still have the design files actually for that flyer.
There was actually more than one version of that flyer that came out.
I think I actually have some printed in the box of old stuff too. But I think I still have the design files for that. Are there any county chairs in attendance that have some ideas on different printed materials that they would like to see being offered by the state party?
Maybe something about property taxes.
Is there, so what I'm kind of asking more for is there a specific, not a topic, but a specific type of printed material that you would find useful having? Like yard signs, polyblast signage, buttons, tip cards, anything else that we're not thinking of that would be beneficial for the county party to have to be able to hand out other than specific issue stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Okay. Mr. Rigg, you had your hand up.
Yes, I did, but that was only to offer up a suggestion for content, not for material ideas. All the other ideas I've heard so far sound good to me. Unfortunately, I can't think of anything to add to it.
Mr. Lundy, you're real good at this. Is there something that we're missing that you think we should be considering?
I was just thinking, I think you touched on most of it. Tip cards are great. The candidate list is awesome. Rack cards with issues on it that we can hand out at tables. I think that's good. I was just contemplating a branded postcard that maybe counties can either get or buy or whatever that has information on it. Like on one side, it's LPIN branded, but on the other side, we can put, a thank you or a welcome, postcard that we can send out to a new member from us as a county or something like that. We have some postcards we use in Morgan County for that sort of thing that we've branded. So that might be an idea.
I'll have to check into that. Because I think what you're suggesting is like on one side it's branded LPIN, on the other side it's completely blank. And
it's not completely blank. It has the website, and I think it's got a QR code to the membership thing. The idea that we bought a lot of those cards for is as we get contacts at our outreach events, we will send them a follow-up postcard if they give us their address as like a thank you for stopping by our booth. It's a handwritten postcard. It's a little cheaper than sending a letter. Just something generic that can be used multi-purpose. Like you said, on the back, you can handwrite any kind of note you want and mail it out.
Okay. But the branding of the county side would be done by the county party.
Well, yeah, or you could just make them LPIN and then people can use them. You know what I mean?
Right.
We made ours ourselves, but you don't want you to have to make 92 different versions of a
right.
postcard.
Right. Which, shouldn't be, honestly, we could probably do that if we're provided the logo files for the county. I think that wouldn't be too difficult to do. The difficult part is, we don't want to waste money ordering them for a county that's not going to use them. So I think if we just branded the LPIN side, just had that printed, had the back side kind of blank, as it were, then any county could use it. So if like Morgan County ended up using all 5,000 of them, cool. Or, whatever counties or districts ended up using them could use them. And we're not sitting on a stack of, late counties that never get used, as an example. Mr. Pollan.
No, I was just going to say that I don't know if you guys have ever gotten a postcard from Jess Mears. She uses something like that a lot, and she sends out little notes. And it's like a little thing. It, like you said, don't overcomplicate it. Just a simple little LPIN thing, and it's just nice to, she sends out these little handwritten thank you notes and stuff like that on the back. And it's a nice, easy thing we could do.
All right. Anybody else got any other ideas? Anything they want to throw out? All right. Hearing none.
I'll just say something real quick.
Sure.
Hey, you know what? I love all of these ideas are great, but Kent had a really strong point that I want to reiterate is that when you have something like a bookmark or, like a magnet, I know is more expensive, but thinking along the line of a bookmark, it's something people keep forever. And you know what I mean? And, if we can get like a cool saying on it or something cool that they want to see, they'll use it forever. So I just wanted to say, I love that kind of forever, keep it kind of thing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. On the agenda, we are at announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? All right, hearing no announcements from anyone, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Seconded by Chuck Hagerman. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Who made the motion?
Morgan.
Thank you.
All those opposed say nay. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Our next SCC meeting is an in-person meeting on February 12th at the Antelope Club at 10:30 a.m. Please try to be there in person, Mr. Pollan.
I actually, no, real quick, just before you go, just remind everybody, so you want an email from us shortly with our evening availability during the week.
Correct. for this upcoming week.
Coming week. Okay, gotcha.
Perfect. All right,
I
guys.
will not be able to attend next month in person because that is our county convention day.
Will you be able to attend remotely, or do you need to have a proxy?
I will be able to attend remotely as the meeting isn't until 2 o'clock.
I give you the papal blessing from the chair because you have attended multiple in-person meetings this year. Some of you have not. Glaring at you. But do try to attend in person if you can. Please do. But as always, the remote option will be available strictly for SCC members. We do not make the remote option available for viewers other than on the YouTube page, which is comments are not monitored on the YouTube page. All right, guys, that's it. Talk to you all later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.